Hi everybody, welcome back to You Tips for You. Well, I have some more dating tips for you. So if you've watched my other videos, then you've got your self-confidence in hand and now you know what you want. Today's video is going to be about where to meet people. And I made a whole list of possible places where you can meet someone. Things to be aware of, things to keep your eyes out for. Make yourself open to possibilities as you go through your day, the different things that you do. And also take initiative to do some of these things so that you can meet someone. Probably my favorite suggestion is school. So if you're in college or high school or you just want to take a class on something of interest, it's a great way to meet someone because not only are you there doing something shared in common, but it's a relaxed atmosphere. You can sit next to someone, you can smile, kind of make eye contact, and hopefully, before the course is over or throughout the period of time that you're in the course or school or whatever, that you can get to know the person. Perhaps everybody's getting together after the course and going to have a drink or a coffee or something, and you can go along too, and it's a great way to meet someone new. And even if you don't meet anybody there, it still gets you out of the house. You're still meeting people. You can make friends there. You're sharing a common interest. So keep that in mind. The other is a health club, and at You Tips for You, we are so health conscious, and we're always about getting into shape. So if you do join a health club or you are a member at a health club, pay attention. And lots of times people kind of get used to going at the same time and sort of know everybody at that time of the day. So a good way for you to meet someone new would be just to mix up your time a little bit. Maybe go in the after work hours if you're somebody who used to go in the morning. Or perhaps just join a new place, because then you'll have a whole new bunch of people to get to know. And that would be another great tip. Other things, other places where you can meet someone are parties. And parties are good if you're sharing a common person there. Like you're there because you, as well as other people there, know the person giving the party. So it's kind of an icebreaker. You find out how the person you're talking to knows the host of the party. Things like that. It's a fun atmosphere. It's casual. You can chat, and if there's a connection to be made, hopefully it'll happen. Also, there are cruises. My friend met her husband on a cruise. And it was just a singles cruise. She was there with a girlfriend, and he was there with like some guy friends, and they found out they were both from the same area and didn't even know each other. And they met up and they had a great time doing different things on the boat together. When you stop on one of the islands or whatever, you go and do an excursion, and she did an excursion with him and his friends, and the friends they formed a big group. Anyway, when they got back to land, he had her phone number and called her and started dating, and they got married and have they have a great life and lovely children. So cruises is definitely one. Also, your neighborhood. Don't forget about your neighborhood, especially if you live in an apartment complex or you live in a condo building where there's lots of people living. Lots of times you may know similar people in the neighborhood, or even if you live in a house is fine. You can still know people in the neighborhood. It's more of a comfortable meeting because you share similarities, that you live in the same neighborhood. And you can strike up a little conversation, and maybe you can see where it leads. If you've had your eye on someone but you just never really got to know them, keep it in mind. These are just ideas I'm throwing out to you to keep in mind, see if any of them fit into your life, where places that you can perhaps meet someone, to start dating. Movies, online in the movies. My girlfriend met her boyfriend there. They were both online to see, oh gosh, I don't remember the movie now, but it was a long ticket line, and not that long, but long enough that they were standing there for like 10 minutes. And struck up a conversation with the guy that was two people in front of her. He just asked her a question or something about the movie. They started talking about whether they think it was going to be good. Next thing you know, he sits near her in the theater, and they just were chatting a little bit before the movie started. Before you know it, they had a date going. So I put that in there because I happen to know someone who had it happen that way, and why can't it happen again? I think it's a great place to meet people. Also, you might want to think about the grocery store. You go there a lot. There's always people coming in and out. I noticed there's a lot of like single people later in the evening coming in because they work later and they come in later and they're grabbing things and they're shopping, and lots of times you can ask for information on something, or has somebody ever tried something that you were wondering if it would be good. Just bring up a little chit chat conversation, try to just break the ice. Remember, people are cautious to strangers. They don't always feel like starting up a big conversation with someone that they've just met. But, if you're aware and you keep it in mind, perhaps you'll see the person again. And that's how just, relationships develop. So I remember years ago where I was working in the town, they had a supermarket that had a singles night where singles used to shop, and they set it up. It's really cute. I don't know if they do it anymore, but I haven't been back to that area. And they had like cheese and crackers and snacks and things. And it was called it was Tuesday nights, single nights, or Friday nights or something like that. People used to come in and just, try the little bits of food after work on their way home or going out or wherever they're going, and they would meet and talk. And it got to be like a fun thing. And I remember one of my friends there, she's like, oh, I met him at the supermarket. It was like more of a smaller market, and they started dating, and I just thought it was the funniest thing. But you know what? That really worked. And I know where I go to some places like Whole Foods, they have like taster things and samples, and people everywhere. Trader Joe's does it, and people are kind of gathered around and chatting, trying the food. And it's a great places to just meet someone and strike up a conversation. It's great for self-confidence too. Even if it doesn't lead to dating, it helps you get out of yourself. And we talked about that in the self-confidence videos. So if you haven't seen those videos, please check them out, because they're really helpful in helping. These are like exercises for you to break the ice. Okay, moving on. We have dance lessons, if that interests you. There are so many people out there who would love to learn how to dance better, and dance lessons are really great. Ballroom dancing, well, I don't know, because like you're coupled up and a lot of people are already there with their couples, but other types of dancing where it's more group dancing, square dancing, that kind of thing, country type folk dancing, that could be a great place if that's something that you're into, or something in your area that's fun. I totally recommend it. It could be noisy, so there's not a lot of talking to do, but maybe before and afterwards, or you get together after, something like that. Places that you familiarize yourself with are often great places to meet someone. And let's not forget about bus stops, trains, and subways. You do these things every day. Things that you do every day, you see the same people very often. You become familiar. And if somebody has their eye on you, they'll see you morning after morning. They may just have the nerve to strike up a conversation, or you may have the nerve to strike up a conversation. So be open to that possibility. Try to look around, see if there's anyone that you think you might like. Make some eye contact, little conversation. Lots of times people are just more interested in talking probably at the end of the day. In the morning, I see a lot of people with their papers and they're reading, but it doesn't mean they won't have a conversation. People standing at the bus stop chatting. I'm sure you always have to be aware of your surroundings. Don't take your eye off of the people around you, but at the same time, be open to meeting new people, because it could very well happen in your daily routine. This is a great place to meet someone. And so I put them all together. If you take your laundry to a laundromat, this is another great place to meet people while you sit and your stuff's in the dryer and you wait for that. And a lot of young people that live in apartment buildings, they do not have washers and dryers, so they take their things to a laundromat. And this could be a great place for you. Or maybe it's in the building, and then again you're meeting a neighbor that you don't know, or if it's down the street. Just keep it in mind. Keep your mind open to that. This is a great place that I like. I'm not, in the dating world, but I see it, is bookstores and libraries. And I'm going to throw coffee shops in there too with that, because I see a lot of people reading and working on their computers at coffee shops. And I happened to notice last week a little encounter in a Starbucks. I was in there waiting for my friend, and she was a little late, so I was just looking around. And I noticed a guy walk in, and he was kind of looking around. He walked around, he got a coffee, and he spotted a girl who was sitting by herself, and she had her laptop open, and he walked over and he said, is anyone sitting there? And she's like, oh no, so he sat down. Well, before long, he was asking her some questions or something about the iPad or whatever she was doing there, and they just started chatting, and they were talking about Apple products and things, and I was smiling to myself because I knew, I'm doing my dating series. I said, oh my gosh, this is very helpful. And I noticed that they really struck up an extensively, longer than I thought, conversation. So my friend walked in, and I didn't pay attention to whether or not there was an exchange of phone numbers or whatever, but I wanted to mention that to you because in that environment, people are frequently going in and out. It's a great place if you're just sitting to sort of meet someone. And bookstores are a great place too when you're sitting and meeting, and libraries. So keep that in mind. Airplanes, if you do a lot of traveling for work or otherwise, sometimes you'll sit next to a very interesting person. I have on traveling and just struck up lots of great conversations, learned about an area that I'm going to that someone's familiar with. It's just you've got hours to kill, and it makes the plane ride go so fast. Sometimes I'm so happy that I actually have somebody great to sit next to me and talk to, because it makes the whole trip seem so quicker. So keep that in mind when you're traveling. That airplanes are a good place too. And how about volunteer activities through your church or other areas in your town that are looking for volunteers? Keep those in mind. You can do a shared act of generosity and also meet people. So that's really, really good. Sometimes the church has things like that if you're very involved in your church. And I put this one down. This is a great one. This year we have a political campaign. Some people get so passionate about politics, and what better way to bring two people together than in their passionate hope for their candidate to be the nominee or to win an election. So if you like politics, or even if you just like the energy that goes along with the race and the campaign, that might be something you want to consider. Because now you're meeting a bunch of people who share your values because they're in the same maybe political party. They're also sharing what you're hoping to get out of the candidate. Say, for example, the presidential election that's going on. People are very passionate about wanting their candidate to get elected or become the nominee. And this is a great place for you to meet someone. You can share in all that fun and energy and, have a date, meet someone. It's a great possibility, and you're enjoying yourself and meeting people. Again, these can also be things that you want to do just to expand your network in your life, not just to meet someone. So keep that in mind. Okay, how about joining a sports team? If there's something that you like to do, maybe your job where you work has a softball team, you might want to consider that, joining a sports team. You don't have to be really coordinated or really good at it, but just the participation of it and the fun and the camaraderie that goes on after the game when people, they get together, they go for a drink, they go for coffee after the game. I think that's a great place to get involved, to meet people at your job or at your work, or even, joining a sports team at school. Sometimes that can lead you to things because, they have parties and they have gatherings, and it leads you into another world. So keep that in mind. Then there's friends and being fixed up. And of course I say that with caution and a smile on my face because lots of times it doesn't work out, and you have all the best intentions, but it's really hard to fix someone else up because you may think it's a great person because you've developed a friendship with that person, but then they just don't have the chemistry. So be lighthearted about it. And really try to think whether they are compatible more so than whether you think they're a great person because you have so much in common with them. Because that's often where it goes awry. And then don't hold it against your friend if you do take your friend up on one of these offers to be fixed up because they went out on a limb to try, and it may not work out because it is hard to be fixed up. And just, write it off as you tried, that's all. And ask, and when you get fixed up with a friend, it's also a good way to know ahead of time what's going on. You can find out what the person looks like, what they, what their interests are, and what they do for a living, whether you like that, hobbies, things like that. You can, go into it, and they can go into it as well, knowing a little bit about each other. And you can assess from that point on whether you think it would work out or not. And if you don't, just say no right off the bat. Or keep an open mind and go. And what's the worst that could happen? You have a new friend, right? So I would go. Relatives are also people that can fix you up and recommend people. And it's the same caution I say with friends as with relatives. Don't hold it against them. But do make clear what it is that you're looking for so that they can steer away from someone that they can already figure out you may not like. So if your mom knows that, you don't want a certain thing, then she shouldn't then try to fix you up with someone like that. So, okay, then how about online? They've become so popular. Match.com, eHarmony. You have to be careful because, of course, they're strangers, and you have to be careful who you meet online. Very often, you try to meet up somewhere after you've chatted a bit online and then chatted maybe on the phone. And if you still think it's worth making a connection, okay, then meet somewhere, but make it a public place. You don't want to be alone in any place. Drive yourself there. Don't let the person pick you up because you don't know this person. Even if you've spent a week talking to the person on the phone and online chatting and stuff, you still don't know them. They're a total stranger. So drive yourself to the place and make it, like a coffee. Something quick, not like a whole dinner, like a whole night. And then, if you find out in the first 10 minutes, oh gosh, forget it. You can leave in a half an hour. You're not committed to a whole dinner with the person. So my suggestion is keep it simple, like a coffee or a tea if you don't drink coffee. But, a day date, an afternoon thing, a lunch, or something quicker as opposed to going out to dinner or making a big long night of it. Just, to try them on for size. You want to check them out. You want to make a judgment call for yourself to see whether or not you want to spend more time with the person. Okay, and Match.com. I have a friend who both her children married someone from Match.com, and so you really can meet the person of your dreams and have a meaningful relationship. And I just think you've got to try. You've got to try kind of a lot of things sometimes, and just put yourself out there, and then things will come to you. So a lot of people think it's so arranged and there's, the chemistry thing is hard. But I think if two people, are meant to be somehow, how they kind of find each other is not important. And maybe that's what had to be to lead the people together. So I believe in fate and chance happenings and stuff. Timing is everything. So, and I put it on my list. This is my final one. But I'm going to say it with caution, and that is at work. And I'm going to let you decide because it depends on your job, and it depends on where you are in it and where you're going in it and whether you're leaving your job or what. The atmosphere there, because usually you don't want to mix business and pleasure. A lot of times it doesn't work out for you. And of course then you have to see the person all the time, and your coworkers know what's going on. So my feeling about work is maybe you want to stay clear of it. Don't go there. But when you're working so closely with people, relationships develop. So it's kind of silly to assume that it's not going to happen because people do meet each other. And lots of times it's in different departments. So there is a separation between, say, what you're doing and what the person you're interested in is doing. But just tread with caution. Remember, your job comes first. If, in fact, you plan on keeping it and you don't want to get fired for some drama thing that's going on in your life, which always remember that there is the potential for that to happen. Not everything is smooth sailing, which I'm sure if you're watching this video, you already know that. Not everybody has a happy ending. So I just want to caution you there, because when it doesn't work out, you're always glad it's not somebody at work. But, when it does work out, you have a wonderful story. We met at work and here we are together, and it's, 25 years. So I put it out there. I'm going to let you decide, because I've known people to meet at work and they have, common interests and a common job, and it's a wonderful thing, and they have a wonderful marriage and a very happy relationship. And then I know others that it didn't work out and they're just, hiding for 2 weeks not to run into the person. So I'm mixed. I'm mentioning it to you. You can decide, and I'll just leave it at that. So I hope you found these tips helpful. I hope that you'll entertain some of them in your efforts to meet someone or new people, or friends. Not that you have to meet a significant other, and you'll have fun doing it, and you'll keep an open mind. Please subscribe, because I have a lot more to come, more dating tips on the way. And please visit me at my blogspot, where I do a lot of writing. And if you haven't visited me yet on Facebook, please stop by, like my page. Let's stay connected there too. And I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye now.